sorry, I've never done a 2-part one of these before, but I've just realised I didn't close out a point and I didn't make another point. Right. So, if the programme, if its backdrop, if its sort of context is moving away from the real world, the exiled, I hate that, exiled, all that, then the Brigadier's role has to change, because the Brigadier has been the thing rooting it in that time, both being able to make that seem real and critique it at the same time. This is what Sandifer says. It's a really delicate role, and Courtney plays it well. But the show's moving away from that. The show's moving towards having this, its own reality. I'm making this up as I go. So Courtney's role has to change. Now, Courtney doesn't go into comedy mode by any means. He's funny, but he's in control of that funny. He's not the clown. But all of a sudden, Courtney has to shift. Now, of course, Courtney eventually will become part of that. He's already part of the mythology. But, we're going to start to see the Brigadier become as important to the history and the heart and the blood flow of the show as anything that's gone before. But it's very interesting right now to see Courtney not only being savvy enough as an actor to slightly change the way, but just how his role, the way it's been established, has to shift with the shifting of the show. Secondly, Omega. Omega's amazing. Like, as a character, Omega's amazing. He's not the Master, obviously. The Master's the Master. But because he's like kind of both an authority, and the Master's like chaos, isn't he? He's like this Loki. Is that a good analogy? But basically, you drop the Master in, and because he's the antithesis of the Doctor, you kind of got your character written there, haven't you? And it's a bit more subtle than that, but that is the basic premise. Whereas Omega's a bit more interesting in many ways. Omega's somebody with his own motivations. Omega's somebody with an axe to grind and legitimate. And I just think the performance is Stephen Thorne, is it? I'm dragging that from the back of my head. I really like his performance, no facial expressions, things like that, all coming from the bodily movement. And the costume's great as well. Back to the 1980s for that one. Can't wait for that. But I really think that, that role has to kick. Episode 3 of this story, having that come in to really ratchet everything up again. And what a great job he does. Yeah, I think this has perhaps been the most interesting episode of Doctor Who we've seen so far in total. When you look at it in context, what this episode does, how it's starting to shift things along. I think this is an absolute watermark episode. Boom, I've said it. There we go. That's the end of this part 2. There is no part 3. Bye-bye.